Right, so here we go. So this is being done on my phone, so I really have no idea what the sound quality is going to be like, but hopefully you can hear me. So here we are. We're staring at most of the ingredients that I personally use for making my biscuits and gravy. Just so you know, this was at the request of several of my UK friends and other people, but primarily to kind of set the story straight on what exactly is biscuits and gravy. And no, it's not cookies dipped in brown gravy. It's a different thing. It's a wonderful thing. And it's something that I'm not going to walk you through every single process, but just kind of highlight some of the key things to make what I consider to be a good gravy. So first, the one thing that you're going to want to definitely get is some good country style breakfast sausage. Don't get patties, don't get wings. Get yourself, the cut up, and ground breakfast sausage that comes in little packets such as these. I personally prefer Jimmy Dean hot sausage, but the rest of my family, besides my son, they're not giant fans of spicy stuff, so I will mix it together with regular country sausage to take some of the heat off. But preferably, if your market or store has it, and they do have, fresh country sausage at the butcher, definitely get that because that's going to cook up better and produce some better grease, which is essential to making good country gravy, and you'll find out in a bit. So without further ado, let's get this sausage into the frying pan. Okay, here we are. So we have the sausage pretty much cooked. You can see that the grease and everything is sizzling underneath it. And that is an important thing about the sausage gravy, is you do not want to dump out the grease. You leave the grease in there. That is what's going to help the flour adhere to the crumbled sausage, and also it is what adds the flavor of the sausage gravy. But before we add flour, the next thing we're going to do is, since this is a double order, we're going to put a little butter in here, and we're going to add 3 tablespoons of butter, and we are going to stir this up. And I will be back because I have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm cooking and holding a goddamn phone. So I will be back in just a minute as we add flour to it. Next step. Okay, that butter is pretty much melted. So the next step we have is just under a cup of flour. Again, this is a double size order of the sausage gravy. And so pretty much what you're going to want to do is just kind of start sprinkling some of the flour over it. Whoops, there we go. And then just kind of stir it. And then you'll start to see the flour mixing with the gravy and the butter, and just kind of, this is kind of a preferred situation. Some people like a little bit more flour in there, some people like a little less, but of course it's the flour that is what's going to essentially thicken your gravy when you add either your cream or your milk. So again, I'm going to continue sprinkling the flour, adding it and stirring it here for a couple minutes, and I'll be back when we add the milk. Okay, so once the flour and the butter and the grease is mixed together, you should see it start to kind of adhere to the sausage, giving it kind of a bit of a pasty white look, so to speak, best way to describe it. And so I turn it down to about medium heat at this point, and then now it is the time to start slowly adding your milk and stirring it together as you pour. Don't dump it all in at once, just, a bit at a time. So normally it's anywhere from, once again, this is by taste, 2 to 3 cups of milk, but I prefer to use half and half. Why I prefer to use half and half is it doesn't cook as fast or curdle as quickly as normal milk does. And it also does, in my opinion, give it a bit of a better flavor. Creamier. It makes for a better type of gravy. So I'm going to be adding 4 cups of half and half. So essentially, just add a bit in, and you just start stirring. Add a little bit more. Stirring it up. And again, since I'm juggling with one hand, I'm not going to sit here and do this all on camera. I'm going to put the camera down, and we'll be back in a minute with adding some seasonings. Oh, and you will start to see it starting to thicken as it adheres, as the flour starts to adhere with the milk. So, be back in a minute. All right, we are back, and we are almost done with the finished product. So, again, this is entirely, up to a particular person's taste. But if you feel that the gravy is getting a bit too solid, you can always add more milk to it. If it's a bit runny, you can add a little bit more flour or just cook it a little bit longer. Definitely making sure you keep it at medium to medium-low heat. And just a couple things that I will add. Let's turn that down a little bit to it for my personal taste and experimenting over the year. And this is going to be about a 1/4 teaspoon each, but I'm just eyeballing it. So I'll add a little bit of thyme, and of course a little bit of salt. Okay, a little bit of pepper. Okay, give that a bit of a stir. Ooh, smells good. And sorry for the camera angle. I've never done this before, so if I'm going off of center, deal with it. And just for a little bit of extra kick, but nothing too spicy, just maybe a dash or 2 of Cholula. Mix that in there. And other things that I've added is I've usually add crushed pepper flakes, but don't want to add too much to that since most of my family don't like anything super spicy, so don't want it to be overwhelming. And that's it. So at this point in time, hopefully your biscuits are ready. And this is definitely, heat and serve. So slice those biscuits in half, put a healthy dollop of this on each side, and enjoy. I'll be back again for one more little snippet showing you the finished product. All right, so once your sausage gravy is done, your biscuits, your buttermilk biscuits, I should say, should also be done and out of the oven, ready to cut in half and put 2 healthy servings of the sausage gravy on top. If your biscuits are still cooking, you have other things you need to do. Of course, put the gravy down on low. You may need to add a little bit of milk because it will thicken rather quickly. But a little bit of milk here and there to keep it from getting too thick isn't going to do anything about the flavor. So, yeah. Well, there you go. Biscuits and gravy in kind of a nutshell. I will put the recipe that I used in the description, along with the little things that I've added here or there. And so, yeah, I guess this has been my first and only yet another completely unprofessional sausage gravy video. And hopefully there'll be no more. So, yeah, there you go. Take care, everyone. Bye.